Continue. Recording, I'll just.
So a very good evening to one and all. So I'm Keyur. I'm the manager of taking care of programs at ITech Incubator at IIT Hyderabad. First of all, I would like to thank Mighty and BSF team members to be here on this roadshow for the Bhumi Grant Challenge. So I would also like to thank our partners AICCCMB.
Vanshu, this audio is not clearly
who helped
audible.
Us, TBI and a not-for-profit organization, and our focus areas are on deep tech, healthcare, AI/ML, quantum computing, AR, VR, robotics, and various many domains. We are sector agnostic incubator, and the support to startups that we provide includes financial aid, mentorship, support, networking, access to office space, co-working spaces, and IIT infrastructure, as well as Maker Lab support. So since inception back in 2015, ITIC has supported more than 70 plus startups through pre-incubation, incubation, and acceleration activities, and has sanctioned more than 5 crores of funds directly to startups, as well as supported startups in raising more than 50 crores of funding till date. So far, ITIC startups have generated more than 800 plus jobs and created revenues of 100 plus crores. So at ITIC, we run various programs for startups, including with NMDC, which is NICE program, TIHAN program for autonomous navigation, Mighty Tide 2.0, Nidhi Prayas for hardware-based startups, BEL Bharat Electronic Limited Seed Fund, Nidhi Accelerator, and Hello. Yes. Sorry, my internet is not stable. Yeah. So I would like to invite Yassine Sharif from Fundinable to share the light on what you are doing. Yassine, over to you.
Thank you, Keyur. I lead the institutional business at Fundinable. We work predominantly with incubators and incubated startups, and along with the early stage startups. We are predominantly an investment bank specialized in raising capital for technology startups. So far, we raised 200 CR for Indian businesses. We integrally work with DST and AIC funded incubators. During our journey, we realized that 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs today, but they are unable to raise the fund. To address this issue with our expertise, we developed a technology platform which has online learning courses along with tools and templates associated with them, which help early stage entrepreneurs to understand the technicalities of fundraising and take forward the process. Along with this, we also assist them with one-on-one mentoring and also certain master classes on the deep issues like valuation, deal structuring, term sheets, etc. As of now, we have 1500 plus startups using Fundinable as a platform to raise capital. Entrepreneurs will get help to tackle all steps of fundraising, right from creating pitch deck, calculation, dilution, finding valuation, negotiating term sheets, preparing due diligence, etc. And then currently we are associated with more than 30 AIC and DST incubators. And apart from that, we have 4,000 plus startups on our BTC. That is from my side. Thank you, Keyur. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you, Yassine side. So ITIC startups are also using Fundinable toolkits, and a lot of our accelerated startups got knowledge on how to raise funds using Fundinable toolkit. So next, I would like to invite Ramji Palela, CEO of AICCCMB.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, especially ITIC to invite me for this kind of partnership to outreach, particularly for the startup activities, especially Bhumi Challenge, which is a very unique challenge where AIC CCMB, although which is involved in healthcare and the biotechnology space, but yes, we have to join our hands to address the specific cause. As you see the thematic areas, as you mentioned in the challenge scope, one example I can tell you, one of our startups actually, Bhapra Biosolutions, is developing a mosquito repellent fabric that is exclusively designed for military people, where they can actually wear it because they may not be washing it regularly using washing machines or something. So that particular fabric can actually withstand about 30 to 40 washes at least, so that the efficacy will be there at least 10 feet distance. The mosquitoes cannot come to the security force. And I think that's a brilliant solution, a nanotechnology based solution that, I mean, in that kind of interventions, CCMB is promoting, but yes, as you see in the anti-drone technologies and other emerging technologies can certainly help promoting our security force more efficiently. I think we're happy to join for this call, and we are also one of the TIDE centers supported by MIT. And any kind of interventions that can actually accelerate the BSF and allied forces, I think this is a right time that everybody need to support the cause. I mean, briefly, I can tell this, and thanks for this opportunity for joining the force together. Thank you very much, Leo.
Thank you, Ramji, for your support. So now I'd like to invite our another partner, Strix Incubator. So Ravali, over to you.
Thank you, Keyur, and respected panelists. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity for being an outage partner for this roadshow. We were also during the launch event for the Bhumi, and it was very good to see all the BSF team from different areas during the launch event. So our SRIX is a 3-year-old incubator in a tier 2 city, Warangal. So we are an ED TBI supported by the Government of India DST. And we are sector agnostic primarily, but then our technology focus is AI/ML and IoT, and sectors include agriculture and manufacturing. So we have our product development facilities, including Makerspace, IoT Center of Excellence, IoT and ESDM Center of Excellence, 3D printing and rapid prototyping zones to support all the grassroots innovators. And we have access to student community of SR University. We are a TBI within SR University, and also a Tier 2 center. So through these grants, we were able to support about 40 plus startups during these 3 years, and many more to go. So thank you again for the opportunity, and look forward to this roadshow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravali. So with this, I would invite Abhanshu from Mighty MSH team, Mighty Startup Hub team, to share more light on the challenge, Bhumi challenge. How did they came up with the partnership, and what are some of the areas of the challenge where their BSF is looking for getting solutions? Abhanshu.
Very good evening to all the participants and the panelists. So for Bhumi, to leverage the innovations created by Indian entrepreneurs and to build on the mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat, BSF seeks to organize hackathons with Indian startups and premier institutions for cost-effective solutions to strengthen the body security scenario. So for in compliance to this, Ministry of Electronics and IT, in partnership with BSF, announces the Grand Challenge Bhumi, that is BSF high-tech undertaking for maximizing innovation to identify impactful solutions from startups to address the problem statements identified. So the problem statements includes 4 areas of focus and technology development. So these are: first is detection of electronic devices. Then second is detection of tunnels and underground activities. Then third is the alternate communication system in shadow areas. And the last is anti-drone technology. So for this, we are inviting applications who can tackle challenges relating to detecting these devices and tunnels and the lack of alternative communication systems. so that we can strengthen the border security scenario. And we also had kept some prizes, rewards to the winners in 2 stages. In first stage, when their solutions are shortlisted for second round, so they would be given 10 lakh each for the first round. And after getting when they are winners in a statement, so 25 lakh is kept for the winners in one statement. So this is the brief introduction about the challenge. Now I would hand over to Keyur to go to the panelist for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Apanshu. So to all the attendees, we will now move on to the panel discussion with MSH, Mighty Startup Hub team, and BSF Border Security Force team. So our moderator is Dhruv Gupta. He's the head of operations at iTech. So he is 3 times entrepreneur, and he made a very successful exit in his last venture. After that, he moved on to support and work on the Rajasthan government's incubator and startup ecosystem. He also designed 2 UN-based accelerators. After that, he joined IIT Hyderabad's accelerator, and now he's looking after the whole incubation cell at IIT Hyderabad. So welcome, Dhruv. So again, on panel, we have Jeet, who is the CEO of Mighty Startup Hub. So Jeet's background is he's an investor and advisor with 15 plus years of experience in USA in international private equity, venture capital, and university system administration. So previously he was licensed by FINRA SEC as investment banker, broker, dealer, and investment advisor. In his last position, Mr. Vijay was the MD of the Horizon Fund, which was a strategic venture fund of University of Texas with $60 million in the committed capital. So welcome, Jeet, to the forum. So from BSF, we have Commandant R.K. Arora, who will be sharing the stage with the other panel members. So I welcome all the panel members, and I would like to hand over to Commandant R.K. Arora to introduce about him. Yeah.
Thank you. We are having 2 of my colleagues from BSF. First is Commandant K. Ganesh, and second, Mr. Virendra Vajpayee. They are joining us for this panel discussion. I think mostly the pattern of the challenge and the various steps will be described by the MATI team, because they are running or operating this whole challenge. For the technical clarification or any issue related to problem statement, our team can help us to further clarify on the issue. Thank you.
Dhruv, you are moderating the session now. Over to you. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Keyur. Okay, so hey, Jeet, I think Jeet will be hearing the same questions again. Most of the questions will be repeating for him, but I'll be asking more questions to Commandant Ganesh and Commandant Arora this time. There's some certain questions we had last time, and I skipped a few questions because nobody from the BSF team was there. So I'll start again with Jeet first, and then I'll move to BSF team. Okay, so Jeet, the very first question is very similar to what I'd asked last time. This is a very, very fast-paced program, 75 days, and we are about to close the applications in a week. So what do you think? Are we still on track? Are we able to close the whole program, whole challenge within 75 days? And what's the idea behind doing it within 75 days? Jeet, you're on mute.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Again, thank you. And this time I think the video is on, right? It's working better. Okay, good. So no, really, thank you so much for making this effort to do this second roadshow. And the first one was a great success. Really enjoyed the startups that have come. And I think it's the effort of people like you on the ground who can really get the word out about the kind of program that the government is doing, that our border security forces are doing, together what we're trying to make happen. Now to answer your question about the 75 days. So that is, the idea is, everything has to be done with speed and scale. And the 75, as we discussed last time, is divided into 2 phases. So the idea is curation of startup, right? So outreach, marketing, awareness, engagement, then getting some startups engaged, then reviewing them, shortlisting them. And after the first round of shortlisting, then taking those shortlisted startup and working closely with BSF in terms of evaluating their efficacy, scalability, technical feasibility, operational integratability, like all the words you can think of, right? So they can be deployed. So that will come in the second phase. And of course, the winner or the team that is selected or the startup that is selected afterwards will actually be evaluated by BSF in terms of, what kind of a work order they can get, or what is the level of integration that can actually happen of the solution that is being brought forward. So 75 days is not the end of the journey. It just gets you shortlisted to work closely with BSF in terms of seeing how scalable the solution is and what the next step would be. But nonetheless, as we mentioned before, there's a decent size of investment award available. So even the companies that are shortlisted in the first round and second round, they would get some logistics support and some incentives to keep moving in the process.
Okay, so this takes me to the first question to BSF team, Commander Arora and Commander Ganesh. Like with the first phase, we are going to select a few startups who are going to, where we are going to assess them on the efficacy and the challenges with the integration of the solution. So the question is on the same front, like with the challenges, the challenge statement we have, there is not much mention about the platforms onto which these are going to be integrated or deployed on. And so can you put some light on that, on each challenge? Just for example, like when we talk about the challenge number 2, let's say, so detection of tunnels and underground activities. So onto what kind of a system you want it to be integrated, where it will be deployed. So that startups can get a little bit of understanding. Okay, this is the kind of use case we are looking at, to be precise, and this is where it should be integrated and what things they should be clear about.
Thank you, Dhruv. If we talk about the technical solution in context of the security organizations, particularly in India, there is a lot of gap between the policy makers and the practitioners. Generally, you will find when all the solutions are theoretically very effective, indoor, if you test them, those are very effective, but when we deploy on the ground, they are not performing as per the expectations. That's the biggest challenge these days we are facing, or our startups are facing. Our main motive is to reduce this gap between the practitioners and the technical firms or the startups, so that we can get customized solutions as per the user requirement. This is the main our focus, and particularly in context of tunnel also, we are expecting the same things, because presently we don't have that sort of a perfect solution which can address our problems. That's why we have selected these 4 problem area in which we will be seeking the solutions related to ground problems. And I will request one of my colleague, Mr. Virendra Vajpayee, Commandant Virendra Vajpayee, to throw more light on these issues, because he's having a lot of technical experience, working on the field also, working with the technological solutions, and he will be giving you some more insight about the issues.
We are yet to see any effective solution in terms of tunnel detection. Probably it's a worldwide problem, and as of now, we are not aware of any effective solution. There were certain radars that were used, but they were not able to detect it to required depth. Then seismic sensors type of things, they were also used. But what I perceive is one of the two solutions. One is something like seismic sensors deployed, fixed on ground uh, in a larger span of area, and other is something which scans one area linearly, and maybe something like change detection can give some idea that something has changed below the ground. Uh, but yes, there are other people, they might be knowing better than me how to go about it. But what I expect is that we have seen tunnels around 20-25 feet underground, and we wish to detect them before they are used. The method by which it is detected is not material to me.
Okay, so I'll go to the first question I'm getting from the startups and other entrepreneurs sitting in the attendees section. The very one question we're getting is, can we say something about how the implementation mechanism is going to be? So, like, okay, we are going to select a startup, but how the implementation will be done? Is there a prerequisite that they must have installed it already somewhere, or is just a prototype also okay? So what is the stage at which we are going to take them, and how the implementations will happen?
See, we don't have any integrated system all along the border as of now. Uh, Even if it works standalone, probably it is good enough for us.
Right now, we don't have any, like Mr. Vajpayee said. So in future, we should be able to integrate it with the command and control center, which we will be setting up for connecting various sensors on the border. So, and one more thing about the tunnel, the problem that we have seen is the GPR and the seismic sensors, both are like, we want the tunnel whether it is in the process of being dug or it is already existing. In both the situations, we should be able to detect the tunnels, because sometimes the tunnel is already existing, there is no seismic activity taking place. So that is also a challenge. So those sort of tunnels, so some sort of a hybrid solution which is able to detect the seismic activity as well as voids already present beneath the ground. So that will be the challenge for the startups.
So, but this is one case like out of the four. In like, I want to have a general answer to how the mechanism of implementation is going to be. Like,
Yes,
yes,
Dhruv,
yes, Commander Arun.
yeah, Dhruv, I got your point. Basically, we are at the very initial stage of the challenge. We are just running through the calling of proposals.
Yes.
As I said earlier, we are trying to reduce the gap between the techno companies and the users, because there is a big gap, and potential startups or the solution makers will get the opportunity to have the real feel of the ground. What is the challenge? Okay. How they can further modify or improve their solutions as per the requirement of the users. That will be the, I think, second stage, although there are the various steps in this challenge. Yeah. METI is dealing, and we will be moving step by step because this is a unique and new initiative jointly launched by METI and BSF, and main aim of this challenge is to have a customized or user friendly or user requirement based solutions. And I think we can't say at this stage what sort of a system we will be following, how we will be implementing these solutions, because it's too early to say. It depends upon the potential of the startups or the any institutions which is having that sort of a solutions or potential solutions. Then there may be the opportunity. They may be given the exposure to the field area where this sort of problems or challenges are being faced by the users. And I think then they get the better idea what sort of solution they are having, what sort of the gap still is there, how they can further improve their solutions. I hope I made it clear.
Yeah, so yes, sir. So there is another question just coming up is around the people, not the people, but entrepreneurs want to know what are the existing solutions or what are the existing technologies BSF already have for these challenges, for these domains, which I think is a little contradicting thing on the security and all. But is there a way that on a confidential way or some way we can share certain information with these technology developers that, okay, this is what we already have. We want something better than this.
Dhruv, I think these technical startups must be having some of their historical data or some feedback about their products, what sort of indigenous product they are having or we are procuring from outside. Because as Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Ganesh have told, we have some of the solutions, but we need further improved versions, upgraded versions, which are more effective and more result oriented. And I think these issues can be discussed later on when we have a one-to-one in-house discussion during our screening or shortlisting of the panels. Then we can have a detailed discussion about this with the further smaller groups, in-house discussion or on-ground discussions. I think that will be more fruitful and result oriented. And Mr. Jeet, I think, would like to further clarify on this issue.
No, I think thank you, Commander Arora. So it's always nice to see you guys here on the screen. Last time we had more fun being there with you guys. So, but I think screen is good too. No, I completely agree with you. And I think this is more a, right now we're in the scoping phase, right? So the larger problem areas have been identified. The indicative set of solution and the parameters have been provided for. A lot more detail in terms of the scoping and the requirements have been provided in the documents that are published on our website. So I know I've seen a few of the questions regarding, where can the information be gathered and where can we get a lot more details. I think going to Mighty Startup Hub portal, there is a full document regarding the BSF challenge that is published over there. That has all the information that can be downloaded by the potential participants for them to get a better understanding. Furthermore, we have also allowed for query seeking over there. So anything that people have any questions regarding from those materials that are uploaded, they can ask the questions there as well. And we can respond immediately on the mail regarding the specificity of any of the instructions on those documents. But I'll agree with with Commander Arora on this point, and then we can move to the next one.
Okay, so I'll go to one of the participants. They have a question, so I'll just let them talk over here. So I'm going with B. Giri Ranjan. Yes, Mr. Ranjan. Mr. Ranjan, you're on mute. Mr. Ranjan?
Sorry, sir. There is a technical issue here. What could be the possibility for the student level and educational institution level to get into this problems related to all the defense and other activities? how the students can be involved in this?
I think Jeet is the perfect guy to answer this. Jeet, what's the possibility of a student project to get selected over here, or a academic level research to get into this thing?
See, the idea, I mean, we won't differentiate and discriminate based on being academia or student or a professional MSME or a startup, right? The idea is that based on these 4 problem statements, if any workable solution. So we are not looking at theoretical ideas. We are not looking at 2 years of R&D to be done on these things. We are looking at ideas that have taken a material shape in terms of their technological viability. That is the base level criteria, right? So if you look at from technology perspective, TRL, right? So technology readiness level. So we have to look at the technological readiness level of a prototype and a hire, which by its own measure can actually be something that BSF can look at and try to figure out the deployment and scalability and integratability, right? It's not for the product development as such. So even if it's a student and professor, or if it's been a final year project, that is still fine to apply. But the point is that this has to be something at a prototype and a higher level, which can actually be made into a functional unit that can be deployment ready. So I think that's where I would leave it at. But if Commandant Arora or BSF team has any other thoughts on that, welcome.
I think Mr. Jeet have very well explained the issue. Generally, they are dealing with these sort of challenges. We are dealing with this challenge first time along with METI, and they have a set system of guidelines, process and procedures, how they are working. And main aim of our government is to involve the indigenous startups, indigenous premier institutions, to have them more opportunities, more exposure about the field. We can get the more indigenous solution related to these security problems.
Okay, I'll go to the next attendee having a question. It's Ajit Yadav. Ajit?
So, hi, Ajit. I'm using Ajit Yadav's ID.
Okay.
I'm from VNL, Anuradha. So, as I understood that this is more of a startup challenge. What if we already have the product, and how do we go about it? And more than that, my question is that what is the time frame in which BSF is looking for these deployable solutions? Because 75 days is for the shortlisting of the idea, and then of a prototype, and then productionizing and doing a field trial and field efficacy, testing the field efficacy of the system. This will take time. So what is the total timeline of deployment which BSF is thinking of?
Jeet has already answered it partially, but I would like to go to Commandant Arora on this. Like, what's the timeline we are looking at? How fast or how slow you would like to take it? If the product is already ready, that's what they are claiming.
Dhruv, I think this is a totally different concept if the product is already ready, and there is a different procedure for the procuring the ready-made product available with the manufacturers or companies, because we are going on a different platform for the this Bhumi challenge. I think, but I don't see there is a restrictions on the startups who are having ready-made solution on this, and those are also effective. I think it will be more beneficial for them, so that they will get the opportunity to test and try the solution on the grounds with the users. And if the user is satisfied with the performance, and METI also find that these startups or these institutions are fulfill their requirements as per the document of the challenge. I think I don't see any problem, but there is a specific timeline is given in this grant challenge document, and according to a timeline, I think we have to wait for this solution. If we want to directly go to the procurement, then I think there's a different process and different procedure for that. Ganesh sir would like to throw more light on this.
Can I just have the question again?
The question is that.
So the question is, they have a ready product, and they want to understand what's the time frame BSF is looking at on implementation side.
The time frame is very difficult for me to comment on this because actually I am not involved in the. We are only for answering the technical queries in this forum. Time frame, it has to be like you have to ask for a clarification from the BSF headquarters.
Okay.
I think Mr. G will able to clarify this issue in a better way, because they are regularly dealing with the this sort of a challenge, and this is a, I think, separate line. If any startups or manufacturer or institution is having ready-made solutions, and how they should go in this, I think G will be able to clarify on this process.
Thank you, Commander. So again, procurement in government, and especially in defense, is a very rigorous and a multi-stage process. And I think if you look at more from the startup perspective, the thought might have been under Ministry of Defense, there's a program called IDEX. And under IDEX, there is a population of startups that is starting to come up, which is working on defense-oriented innovations. So be it, drone technologies, be it on the artillery technologies, be it on the sensor and radars. So a lot of startups have started working on those defense-oriented products. And if some product has been developed under IDEX mandate or under IDEX grant schemes, you are still welcome to apply. It doesn't make you, ineligible to apply. Now, if you are a, Bharat Forge or Baba Kalyani's company that is actually in the business of doing this full time, then that's a different procurement policy. That's a different ballgame. Yeah. But if you're a startup, you have developed something for a different program, then there's no issues for you to proceed and apply and to be considered, because again, there's a very clear criteria for a startup, right? A certain age, below a certain revenue stream, and all those are indicated in the application form. So I would say that those are not the questions you should worry about as a startup. And second thing is, in terms of the deployment timeline, you need to be appreciative that BSF folks are taking time to be in this meeting, because they are super excited about what the great minds of India can throw up as solution to their challenges. And if we find something that's workable, and that may take longer time or lesser time, I'm sure they will be very happy to figure a way out to support the development of that product within the guidelines of this project. So again, let's not worry too much if it's only 75 days. 75 days is more of a Lakshman Rekha in terms of getting access into the program and playing the game. Once you are in it, then of course, let's try and make sure we win it, right? So don't worry about the timeline. Don't worry about the deployment. Let's make sure if you have the relevant solution for the 4 problem statements, that they are considered, and you guys give your best effort to make sure you put your best product out there for evaluation.
Thanks, Jeet. Actually, my question didn't get answered, but okay, no problem. You spoke about the support after, once the idea has been approved. What kind of a support will be provided to the startup? When you talk about support, what do you mean by that in terms of monetary in terms of financial terms?
Sure. You know what? But again, we are not here to skirt any answer. So please ask me specifically what was your last question, which didn't get answered, because we want to make sure we answer your question.
Jeet, it's like we are overshooting the time. So what she can do is she can write it to us and I'll forward it to you, or she can directly write to your team and you can answer it specifically. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So because I also have a lot of questions coming from other attendees, and we are short of time. Okay.
Sure. So let me answer this one about what support is provided. I'll take 30 seconds because I think that's an answer everyone want to know.
Yeah.
So support is provided in terms of three things, right? One is, of course, the monetary support. So there is a 10 lakh investment award for the logistics support for the top candidates across the 4 problem statements. And then, of course, there is a grand prize for the top one in each of the 4 problem statements. So there is financial award, which totals up to 2.2 CR for the whole challenge, right? Now, second support that is provided is in terms of the hand-holding, mentoring, and support. That comes both from the MIT, MSH, and BSF team in terms of technical expertise and support that they are needed. Third is any support that is needed through our incubator network. For example, Ramji and his team are doing this. You guys are doing this today. So any support a startup needs in terms of the incubation and hand-holding by the experts on the ground, that support is also provided. And of course, lastly is, this is the goal at the end of the rainbow is the work order with BSF, right? So we all work towards, there's financial support, there's mentoring support, there's an infrastructure support, and any other support that you want, you let us know when you're in the program and we'll make sure we provide it.
Okay. So next question is what I'd asked Jeet last time, but I think BSF team is more relevant to answer this. So many of the times when a security product is built, the government or the security forces would like to keep the hold on the IP so that it doesn't go in anybody else's hand. So what is the term over here in Bhoomi challenge, like whatever will be built, who is going to own the IP, how the IP sharing will be done, and what are the terms on that? So either Commandant Ganesh or Commandant Arora would like to answer, whoever.
Dhruv, I think these all terms and conditions are well defined in our document. It's clearly mentioned. If these startups will go through the document thoroughly and they will find each and everything is there. Jeet, I think everything is clear on our document.
Yes, yes, and I know we had discussed this previously, but for the benefit of our audience, I'll mention it again. That's see, base IP always belongs to the entrepreneur. And when it's a defense product, then there's of course a lot of guidelines that are issued by the government. But the use case IP belongs with the government or the ministry or the body or the agency that is actually working on the. And of course, use exclusivity of usage, prior confirmation, prior approvals, all those sensitive matters that come into any contractual negotiations when you are dealing with defense. All those come into play. You're not, making a SaaS product that any MSME can use, that you can go and sell to every automaker in the country, right? There's only 1 or 2 buyers of this thing nationally. So at the end of the day, you only work with 1 buyer, and then you have to work out the IP ownership, which is more on the production, on the procurement, on the deployment. So all those things are there, and those things are negotiated at the tail end. But ultimately, it's all listed out in the agreement in terms of the base IP, who owns it, use case IP, who owns it, what are the exclusivity provisions, what are the exclusionary provisions, and what are the different scenarios. So those are all listed there.
Okay. So I'll go to the next question from one of the audience, Mr. Sachin Gattu. Sachin, can you start? You're on mute. Yes.
Sachin, we cannot hear you. Dhruv, you are on.
Okay, we are going next to Hari Babu. We'll wait if Sachin comes now. Mr. Hari,
Hi.
yes, please. Your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, Hari from CSAT. So this is regarding the third challenge about that coverage for communication for the border force. So I just need asking a little more detail about this. Like, is the requirement is for the lack of only voice communications, or is the requirement is like BSF is looking for a kind of a communication network or a solution for both data, voice, and video kind of solutions? Because when it comes to voice, like I feel like there are lots of solutions available, like to talk a basic walkie-talkie systems or any other communication solutions which can cover like good areas. So if someone can highlight more detail of this requirement about the actual requirement, whether data communications is needed, or if any kind of present existing solutions which they can use, it can highlight, it will be useful for us kind of companies, we can work on better solutions.
Yeah, I saw a smile on Commandant Arora's face, so I would like him to answer this.
Thank you, Hari, for this query. This problem statement deals with the alternative communication system for the shadow areas, where we are not able to get the existing communication system. And I think we are lucky for that. Mr. Virendra Vajpayee is here. He is one of our main expert on the issue, and he will explain about the problem statement further. Commandant Vajpayee, sir.
The only answer is more is the better. If data is possible, why not?
I'd like to add here, because ultimately BSF will be looking for integrating various sensors also. So we will be requiring video, voice, and this data. All three will be required. Not only voice, because communication encompasses all three. So I think that is the challenge.
Okay. So this is going to be the last question, and I'm going to allow. I can see Sachin Gattu back here. So, Sachin, your question, please.
Yeah, Dhruv. Am I audible now? Yeah.
Yes, you're audible.
Like my questions are mostly based on the application form which I saw. Like there are a few things. One is related to the strategic partners. Like, may I ask, like, what kind of strategic partners are BSF people are actually looking for? Like, is it only for Indians or else international, or else like little bit more information about that partnership would be useful. Like, and I also have other questions. Do you want me to ask all the questions?
If you can, yeah. So if you can ask them in one shot, that will be better.
Yeah, and the other one is also regarding the video and the validation. Like as we are an early stage startup, our product is kind of a point of there is a proof on the concept. We can also show the reports, but I'm not sure like whether it will be like completely, like we have not validated with any government parties or something. So how is that going to impact for the startups like us? That is another question. And the other and also this is the last question. Can we try to fuse our technology with the already existing technology, like in seismic waves or like FMCW waves, like frequency modulated continuous waves, those kind of technologies with hyperspectral sensing, so that it would be useful for ground detection, like underground activities and tunnel detection. So like, is there a way for fusing up technologies, or else should we just stick to whatever we have?
Okay.
Those are the questions.
Yeah. So I think the first question should be answered by Jeet, which is on the application form, and then we'll go to the BSF team for the other two questions.
You just like asking me questions. We got BSF team. I thought they'll take all the questions. I think, see, the whole idea that our Honorable Prime Minister is focused on is Atmanirbhar Bharat. BSF, doesn't have lack of options in terms of procurement and doing things, and it is one of the most well-recognized and powerful body when it comes to the defense around the world, right? So what we are looking at here is germinating the seeds of innovation to build a fortified India. Okay, एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत, एक सशक्त भारत, right? So as much of indigenous material, talent, and vision we can use in our product, that is what the ultimate purpose of this exercise is. Right? Finding one solution is great, but it's about sowing the seeds of aspiration in all the people who are attending, that there is a support from the BSF, there's a support from defense and from ministries, that they can think of building an India by themselves. Right? Now, having said the bigger picture, when it comes to strategic partners, we want them to be Indian, right? We are looking at Indian solution for making Indian products, right? For the Indian defense. And so it has to be Indian. That's what we are looking at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to the second question of integration with the existing solution, of course, we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you want to make a new cycle, right? We can use an old wheel to make a modern cycle. But so integration with existing technology solutions to come up with the, answer to the problem statement, I think that is still acceptable, because not all innovation have to be completely blue moon, right? It can be incremental. It can, as long as it delivers the goods that we want it to deliver. So I think that's my 2 cents on it, and I'll let Commander Arora and his team opine on it.
Thank you, Jeet. And about the third query, I think we are the practitioners and the user on the ground. We are not imposing any restrictions about the type of technology they are using. We are more worried about the impactful solutions, effective solution on the ground, which can give the results. What they are using and what sort of a technology they are applying there, I think that's their choice. They are more exposed to these challenges, these technological solutions than us. We are the user basically. And this is not our domain where we can say what sort of a technique or technology they should use. We need effective solutions for these problem statements. This is the main concern for us.
So we are towards the end of the session, and what I'll ask my team as well as Mighty team to just post the email IDs where we are receiving queries in which we can later on answer. And I always do it in a panel discussion. At the end of the panel discussion, I ask panelists to ask questions to each other. So I want Jeet to ask a question to Commandant Arora, and Commandant Arora should ask a question to Jeet. Because मेरे को ये समझना है कि जब जीत कमांडेंट साहब से बात करता है फोन पे तो बात क्या करते हैं. So and no revenge questions, please. Okay, so first question from Commandant Arora to Jeet.
Generally, we discuss these common issues which we are facing now. how to address. That's why, and generally, I have more queries and questions to Mr. Jeet than he asked me. Because we are first time in this field, and Mr. Jeet is very frequently and regularly dealing with this challenge. And if you ask me about the today's, I think if Jeet can throw a more light about the past experience on this sort of a challenge, if he have dealing with the security solution during these challenges, if he can share his experience on that.
Sir, why are you doing that to me? You threw it at me like this. No, but Arora sir and his team, I mean, salute to them, hands off to them. They are doing wonderful things, not only at the border, but even at the headquarters here in Delhi in their office. When we visited and seeing how these guys operate and the energy and the aura they carry around them, it just makes you want to do this work more and more. Because ultimately what they are trying to do is something what helps us sleep every night, right? So it's an amazing opportunity. So every time I meet with them, I'm completely in awe of them. Because it's one thing to talk about innovation and startup and billion-dollar companies, It's another thing to actually deal with folks like him and his team who actually, will use a solution to protect millions of people. It's not about making billions of dollars, but protecting millions of people at a go. And we saw what happened with the drone attack. And so these things are pretty real. They are not very theoretical anymore. So it's very fascinating. But I think there's a ton of talent in our country. There's a lot that's happening. So I'm very positive and hopeful that with the support of incubators and people like you, Dhruv and Ramji, that we'll be able to identify some good solutions that we can pitch to BSF. But one thing I would like to ask Commander Arora and his team is, what is their view on building this Atmanirbhar Bharat? How do they see envisioning this technologies and innovation coming from, youngsters who might be the age of their children or, their younger brother and sister? They are working on the borders, but these youngsters are working in colleges and in, corporate environments.
Jeet, if you ask my frank view on this, I am a very big supporter of this indigenous solution. Reason behind this is any security solution, especially in the defense sector or border security sector, will not be sustainable if you have a better repair and maintenance facility, equipment are not user friendly, and they are not addressing the local topographic, demographic, and other weather climatic conditions. Therefore, unless we address these 4 or 5 problems when we manufacture these technological solutions, we will not be able to find the proper solution, particularly in Indian context. That's why I say, unless we go for the indigenous solution, these imported solution will not sustain in our country. I'm a big supporter of this, and I will ask Commandant Ganesh and Commandant Vajpayee sir to give their views also.
Yeah, what Commandant Arora just said about relevance of Atmanirbhar Bharat for defense, border guarding forces, very relevant. That's very relevant. So we cannot be looking for solutions over which we don't have control. So in case there is some crisis or some warlike situation, we have to be like, the solution has to be indigenous. So in the past also, we have faced many problems because of too much reliance on imported technology. So I think that is the crux of the hackathon. So this, more than the solution, it is how we are able to indigenously develop and come up with options for our security forces.
Yeah, so like my simple point is India procures around 7,000 crores of defense technology every year from different countries. If you can just reduce it down to 6,000 crores, that's a state saving of much more money than just the amount we are procuring from. Like as Commander said, the service is a bigger problem. Like something goes wrong and you have to wait for 3 months just for a call from the service guy. So those are the major challenges rather than the control over the technology. And I think those are certain things which we need to address. And Atmanirbhar Bharat is something which is going to do it in a very, very better fashion. This is, I think, here we close our panel discussion and can go back to Keyur for his final remarks.
So it was really a wonderful discussion, and I hope a lot of doubts which the attendees had got cleared. So if there are still any more doubts, they can go to the chat box and check out our mail ID, MIT's mail ID, on which they can get the information. So I'd like to give special thanks to the BSF team, K. Ganesh, Commodore Virendra Vajpayee, Commodore R.K. Arora, as well as to the Mighty Startup Hub team, Jeet Vijay and Abhanshu Gupta. So thank you so much for taking out your time. And also I would like to thank our partners, AICCCMB, SRIX and Fundinable to support us in this roadshow. So with this, we would end the session. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.